Green Bay, it is cold, it is blustery, the winds are gusting to 30 miles an hour, and here come the Packers out onto Lambeau Field where it rained earlier and more rain is expected later. It's the Vikings against the Packers. I'm Al Michaels and welcome to Green Bay. The Vikings come in with a mark of 7-1. They were the last unbeaten team in the National Football League, but were blown out last week at Tampa Bay 41-13. Was that an aberration or a precursor? We'll find out tonight. Meanwhile, the Packers reached the halfway mark of the season with a record of 3-5 under new head coach Mike Sherman. Now we'll find out about Green Bay because their season very much in the balance tonight against their arch-rival Vikings. What kind of a game tonight do you expect?
Well, you'd think that the Vikings would have this one easily, but the Packers are a desperate football team. They lose this one, they can forget about the playoffs. It's going to be windy and wet tonight, so that should favor the Packers as well. I really think that Brett Favre has a strong enough arm to cut through this wind, and it's going to be throwing against a secondary that has no interceptions in the last 4 games and a pass rush for Minnesota that has disappeared. Favre thinks they can put up some points, but can they put up enough against this great Minnesota offense? Randy Moss doesn't think so. Randy Moss loves playing against the Packers. 6 touchdown catches in 4 games. Should be a shootout, Al.
Moss loves to play against the Packers, but what about under these conditions? Eric Dickerson, what's it like on the field tonight?
Well, Al, it's raining and it's wet. Now, we know that the Vikings have a lot of talent on offense. They have Randy Moss, they have Dante Culpepper, and Robert Smith. But the Vikings are an indoor football team. They play indoors and they practice indoors. Now, one thing they're not used to slipping around. The receivers and the running backs are used to having a very good surface. This ground is very slippery. And one thing, I think they grew the grass out about 2 inches longer for who? Randy Moss. And the Packers really need a win tonight, so I'm picking the Packers.
Well, Eric, Melissa Stark has been with a lot of the Packers this weekend. They're 3-5, but what is the mindset around this Green Bay team right now, Melissa?
Al, this week in Green Bay, there's been a heightened awareness about the state of the Packers. Leroy Butler, one of the veteran leaders, expressed his concern. He's worried about some of the younger players, those who weren't here a few years ago, weren't here when the Packers were winning. He's worried about them pointing fingers, getting discouraged. So he tried to rally them. He had them over to his house for a barbecue yesterday. They all went to go see Remember the Titans today. He's trying to encourage them. He wants them to believe, Al, that anything is possible.
And anything has been possible through the years at Lambeau Field, as John Facenda likes to say. Dennis Miller, can you believe you're in Lambeau Field? What do you think?
Al, we are surrounded by history. Indeed, we're enveloped by it. If somebody comes up to you and asks you who played left guard for the Packers from 59 to 67, and you say your recollection is fuzzy, they'll tell you that's the right answer. I was out at the Packer Museum today, and, you know, as I was walking through Chuck Mersine Hall, I was musing about the elaborate nature of the place, and maybe I should take the 35-minute underground tram ride out to Zeke Bratkowski World. Yeah, maybe I should. But the most interesting thing about the Packers is it's a publicly traded company. I was just over in the owner's skybox, and all 110,812 owners had coincidentally shown up today. They were having a hell of a fight over that last shrimp. A mutter in Green Bay. It's every boy's dream, Al!
Alan Rossum is back deep for the Green Bay Packers, who do not have the services tonight of Dorsey Levens. He did not practice this week. He will not be in uniform tonight with a knee injury sustained last week in Miami. Here we go. Flashbulbs popping in Green Bay. Good deep kick through the end zone. Brett Favre, he'll be handing the ball tonight to Amon Green. Favre with 134 consecutive starts. That means he has not missed a start in about 8.5 seasons.
See if the Pack can get off the snide tonight. They haven't scored a touchdown on their opening drive so far this season.
Amon Green is the running back. Short drop by Favre. Throws into traffic, and it's incomplete. Tried to jam it into Antonio Freeman.
Had a pretty nice baptism of fire against the Dolphins last week. Acquitted themselves pretty well.
First running play of the night. This is Green picking up 2. The defensive unit that will really have to step it up tonight is Favre on 3rd and 8. Steps up, throws, and the pass is incomplete, intended for the tight end, Bubba Franks, who was covered by the linebacker, Dwayne Rudd.
Really looked like Favre could have just taken off and run with this ball. He broke through the pass rush right here, and it's just wide open. But his first instinct is he's got Bubba Franks in the flat. You can just see how that ball got away from him. Packers are going against the wind here, and if the ball gets out of a spiral, as this one does, the wind's going to take it. You're going to get incomplete.
Packers stay on that first possession schneid as Josh Bidwell's kick is hauled in at the 37-yard line. Not fair caught. and tackle immediately for the Vikings as they come out offensively back to the 37-yard line.
Tough night to feel
David
punts,
Palmer.
Bino.
David Palmer just coming off the inactive list.
He did a good job just catching that ball. This wind is just treacherous tonight, blowing between 15 to 20 miles an hour. And because this is a bowl stadium, the wind will swirl and make it very difficult on passing and receiving kicks.
Vikes have been picking up around 7 yards on first down this year. Every first down average.
Lawson did a nice job covering Palmer on that last kick. Here is Smith picking up 5. Second down and 5 now for the Vikings from the 41-yard line. Packers show blitz. Culpepper throws, caught, slant, Moss in Green Bay territory, then shovels the ball to Carter, and Carter is out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
That little shovel by Moss to Carter got him 7 more yards. Here's Moss working on Mike McKenzie. McKenzie playing way too soft as Culpepper gives him a good pass, but this is why Moss is so special, and Carter as well. Carter was anticipating that lateral.
Did Santana Dotson smoke Carter down at the end of the play?
At the end of the play, but there was no flag. From the 31-yard line, here is Culpepper rolling, and of course he can take off, but not on this wet turf. He slips down, tackled by Maryland. Second and 8 from the 29-yard line, and that is deflected and then caught by Carter, who stays inbounds and picks up the first down.
What a great job by Chris Carter staying with this deflected pass. Looked like Vonnie Holiday right here on the end here, actually is blitzing linebacker out there, Niall Diggs. But this is why Chris Carter's so confident today playing against the Packers. He said that these defensive backs are undersized and they don't tackle very well. That time Mike McKenzie missed a wide open tackle on Chris Carter.
Well, he might have earned himself some good tackles tonight saying that out loud.
First and 10 from the 19-yard line. Big hole for Smith. One guy missing is the linebacker Brian Williams, who had surgery in the offseason, came back a couple of weeks ago, but he's on the shelf again tonight with a knee. On second and 4. Smith takes it to the 10-yard line. Smith is the sole setback, and they give it to him. And he takes it to the 8-yard line where he's tackled by David Bowens. Second down and goal. Rolling is Culpepper. He throws, and it is caught by Matthew Hatchett, the number 3 wideout. He's tackled by Leroy Butler, setting up third and goal from the 4-yard line.
It makes sense to roll Culpepper out down here because he's so big. If they believe he's going to run, everybody's going to have to come up to stop him.
Yeah, he's got about a 5-yard average, but this is great coverage by Leroy Butler all over Matthew Hatchett. So you can see the Vikings, what they're trying to do is create some type of mismatch in the secondary when they go with 3 and 4 wide receivers. 3 wide receivers for this play.
Third and goal, the Vikings opening drive. It began at their 36. From the 4, out of the eye. Smith in motion. Culpepper stepping out. Flag is thrown. Going for the end zone. He will get there, but there's a penalty marker at the 9-yard line.
Last time we had him on Monday night, he scored on the first drive in that corner of the end zone.
That'll come back.
Now, whenever a quarterback gets that much time to throw, you know that somebody up front is holding. But this has got to be a major concern for the Packers, even though they had good coverage in the secondary. Culpepper turned it into an easy touchdown.
Dick Hantak's first call of the night.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Third down.
2-time Pro Bowl left tackle Todd Stussy.
Stussy's number 73 working against Vonnie Holiday right there. You can see him pulling that face mask right there with the right hand. If he doesn't do that, Holiday gets into on the quarterback.
Got his money's worth.
Third and goal now from the 14. Culpepper out of the shotgun. Quarterback draw, and he only gets to the 12. tackled by Dotson. We asked Green last night about Culpepper. He runs a lot, but very few are cold runs.
They were really asking him to get an awful lot of yardage, though, on that quarterback draw. To go from that far out, you really have to fool the defense. Santana Dotson, an old veteran, he was not fooled as he beat David Dixon for the tackle.
30-yard field goal attempt for the leading scorer in the history of the NFL, Gary Anderson. Mitch Palmer with a snap. Mitch Berger puts it down, and 3 more points. With the wind in effect here, it's a swirling wind. This is Berger. A bouncing ball that is fielded by Allen Rawson at the 2. The coverage is very good. And Rawson pays the price up at the 13-yard line. From the 13-yard line, Green Bay on first down. Vikings up 3-0 early. Favre rolling to his right. Trying to turn the corner and cannot. He is pulled down by Keith Thibodeau. Dwayne Rudd shaken up on the play. You look at that Vikings secondary. One of the problems that they have had this season is creating turnovers. They have only 3. Dishman, Thibodeau, and Thomas. Rudd's okay. He'll come out. Well, he have to come out to be taking injury time out for at least 1 play.
Favre got a real good straight arm on Rudd and forced him down to the ground. You know, Brett Favre's a big guy, big and tough at 225 pounds. Got 2 yards out of the play, but more importantly, got Dwayne Rudd out of the game for 1 play.
You know, you're talking about the Vikings secondary, Al. Last week, Dishman and Tate were giving him so much pad that Sean King killed him underneath.
He did. The Vikings losing 41-13, first loss of the season. Second down and 8. Here is Green, who they picked up from Seattle, and he is taken down by Lemansky Hall. And again, with Levens out, and Dorsey's immediate future is somewhat in question. And there's some talk about possibly surgery. Green is going to have to carry the load on the ground for them.
And Green really likes running between the tackles. This is a draw play, and it's well played by Lemansky Hall, who is substituting for Dwayne Rudd. If he doesn't make that tackle, Ahman Green is deep into the secondary. With his speed, could have gone all the way.
Rudd back in after that 1 play. 3rd down and a long 5. Good protection for Favre, and then hits on the slant over the middle. Bill Schrader out to the 40-yard line, and the Green Bay Packers, 8 minutes into the game, have their first down. Tackled by Chris Dishman.
And Brett Favre has his first pass completion of the evening. And again, it's a slant route against Dishman by Schrader. Dishman with slow reaction time there. Perfect pass by Favre. And a 3rd down conversion that gets the ball in real good field position now for the Packers for the first time tonight.
Only 3 wide receivers in the league had 3 receptions in every game last year. You'd probably guess Tim Brown and Marvin Harrison. Bill Schrader was the other one.
Here's Favre on first down. He swings it out here. Near side caught by William Henderson. And he's gang tackled. 2nd down and 5 from the 43-yard line. They set up a screen, and slipping through is Henderson. So they go to Henderson on 2 successive plays, and he's into Minnesota territory for a first down.
Well, this is what you want to see out of Favre, answering the clarion call. In the past, having this guy at 3 and 5 would be like having Sampras at 0-40 on his serve. He'd come out firing BBs, and Favre looks good tonight.
He looks good on this drive, and he's getting the ball to William Henderson, who's kind of the wild card in this Packer offense. You wouldn't expect a fullback to have as many receptions, but that's 18 now. And you notice the last 2 times Henderson's caught the ball, Vikings haven't been able to tackle him.
Antonio Freeman's got to get involved here.
From the 48, first down. And a whistle before the snap.
Freeman only had 2 catches last week against the Dolphins.
Starts. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
One of the rookie tackles, that's Shad Clifton.
But part of Freeman's 2 catches, part of that was game plan of the Packers against those great cornerbacks of the Dolphins, Patrick Surtain and Sam Madison. They were willing to not throw the ball and force it against the corners. And Favre started that game, completing his first 10 passes, leading the Packers to what they thought was a huge 17-point lead that they blew.
I think the factory work of a small town like Green Bay can't believe Antonio Freeman's being schemed out at $6 million.
First down. Well, you saw his numbers as Green takes it across the 50. He has been mildly successful. When you're making $6 million, you don't want the adjective mildly used. Here's Freeman talking about his relationship with Brett Favre.
A lot of the other weapons that we had aren't here anymore, and a lot of attention gets shifted over to me. And I think that in some instances that scares Brett away from me. I think that if he and I can get going early, that'll help our running game. That'll help the other receivers get involved, and I think it puts our offense in a pretty good situation to be successful.
Here is Schrader on a reverse, seeking the first down, out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Has it.
Brett Favre pulling out like Kramer and Legion.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly Kramer and Thurston, but it was pretty effective, wasn't it?
No, I meant Kramer from Seinfeld.
Well, there he is, number 4, right there, taking down Kylie Wong, Dwayne Rudd. Dwayne Rudd's not going to want to see Brett Favre anymore tonight.
12-yard gain, ball at the 37. 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Favre, that deep drop, and then stepping up and throws just before he crosses the line of scrimmage to his new favorite receiver, Henderson, or that's Green, making the catch, and Green takes it for a first down inside the 25-yard line.
That's one of the things that hampered the Packers last week against Miami is Ahman Green drop passes such as this one when he was wide open in the secondary. Boy, Favre was real close to that line of scrimmage before he delivered that ball to Green.
He seems to have an innate Geiger counter about that line, though. He always gets right up to it and knows how to not step over most of the time.
29th reception for Green. He's second on the team in that department, and now Green takes the ball to the 21-yard line. Green Bay with 8 touchdown drives of 80 or more yards this season, and Mike Sherman looking on as his team has begun this drive at its own 14.
And the key here is he's taken time off the clock with this drive, keeping the ball away from the Viking offense. Remember, the Vikings went down and got themselves 3 points. They did not get a touchdown. So in Sherman's mind, this team's doing well.
2nd and 9 from the 22-yard line. 4 receivers in this set. Ball is handed off. Green to the 20-yard line. 3rd down and 7. Favre throws, and somehow it is caught at the 5 by Freeman. Antonio goes down. The coverage is good, and sliding to a stop on the wet turf makes it 1st and goal.
Well, we just heard it from Antonio. If he can get off fast, and he's in the game now.
Well, and Brett wanted to go to a short receiver, but when you have a favorite receiver, somebody you've worked with over the years so well, you trust them just a little bit more. Dishman had real good coverage on Freeman, but Favre knew that Freeman was cutting to the inside, threw it nice and low, got a huge completion on the 3rd down.
1st and goal from the 5 with split backs. Gets a hard yard. Coming up to make the stop is Tyrone Carter with the injury to Orlando Thomas, and he's gone for probably the rest of the season. Could conceivably come back in the playoffs. A lot of the onus falls on this guy here, the rookie from Minnesota, Carter.
Well, all Tyrone Carter did in his career at the University of Minnesota was make more tackles than any defensive back in NCAA history. Last year he was the Jim Thorpe winner as the best defensive back in college football. That's his strong part. Coming up, making aggressive tackles like that one.
They're going to miss Thomas, though. 31 takeaways since 1995.
2nd and goal. Damon Parker is in the game, and he is greeted by Chris Hovan, their #1 draft choice out of Boston College. Damon Parker coming back from knee surgery. Had a big game at the end of last season. In the meantime, now they've been pushed back. It's 3rd down and goal, and Brett Favre trying to get in from the red zone as the quarter will expire. He'll come over to the bench because time has run out. That's the end of the 1st quarter at Lambeau Field with the score: the Minnesota Vikings 3 and the Green Bay Packers 0.
Got my vote, pal.
Boys, I'm not running, but I do have some suggestions. The balloting from Dixville Notch will be coming in before this game is over. All right, Brett Favre now in the red zone. As you can see this year, under 50%. He's in that situation right now. Third down goal. William Henderson is the sole back behind Favre from the 6-yard line. As we begin the second quarter, Favre into the end zone, and it is incomplete and no flag. Corey Bradford reaching for it, covered by Chris Dishman. Bradford gets up, looks for the laundry, doesn't get it.
Not only was Dishman all over him, but a good job by the rookie Tyrone Carter flashing in front of the receiver right there. I'm sure that disturbed Bradford's concentration, but it certainly looked like Dishman was wearing him like a cheap overcoat.
Brian Longwell to attempt a 24-yard field goal from the left hash and bangs it through.
Bush was in Green Bay today and saw him on the local news. You know, the guy might be an empty suit, but it is a well-tailored one.
There will be equal time before this show is done.
Oh, sure. Come on. You got to take some time.
This is Palmer from the 2-yard line. Past the 20. Flags come in, 2 of them, and up to the 37-yard line.
You know we'll say Gore, Albino.
Just looking for parity.
Huh? I don't think I can see Gore be president the next 4 years because I cannot watch him high-five African Americans for the next 4 years. How awkward is that move? Looks like the Lost in Space robot.
It's like the holding is right there. Jim Kleinsaucer, big number 40, opened that hole for David Palmer.
Holding during the return. Number 90. 10-yard penalty. First down.
From the 16-yard line, it's an end around. It's Randy Moss. And a nice tackle is made up at the 13 by Mike McKenzie.
John Theory forced the play back into the inside where McKenzie finally made a tackle. Take a look at the first quarter stats, and off of that 15-play drive by the Packers that went 81 yards, Brett Favre hit 5 out of 6 for the passing yards. And you can see that it took 8 minutes and 31 seconds off the clock. That's why the Packers have that huge edge in time of possession.
They don't run a lot of plays like that with Moss. It's only his 3rd carry of the season for a net of 5 yards. That one lost 3. This one will lose a few more. He's sacked. It's a fumble. The ball is rolling into the end zone, and if it's recovered by Green Bay, it'll be a touchdown. Dick Hancock says touchdown.
Russell Maryland at the bottom of that pile dove in there to score the touchdown for the Packers.
Bonnie Holiday is the guy, I think, who strips the football. Now the question is, are they going to say?
Third down.
Well, Hancock said touchdown, but one of the officials blew the whistle. And once the whistle is blown, that's the end of the play. There's no challenge. So it appeared to be a touchdown because the crowd can't hear the whistle, and neither could the players apparently, or at least several of them. Turns out to be only a sack.
That appeared to be a good call, too, because his right knee was down before the ball comes out. Yeah, clearly a good call by the officials.
Minnesota from the 7-yard line. They have to get to the 26 to convert. Culpepper, after taking that timeout, throws, tip incomplete, intended for Chris Carter, reaching for it, and he would have had the first down.
Randy Moss protected his people.
And Randy Moss, he better get some help. There's a lot of green shirts around Chris Carter. Antoine Edwards with the coverage that time. Had a few words to say after he knocked the pass away.
Good for Moss, though, right into the scrum.
Here's Chris Carter and Antoine Edwards, 24 and 80 here. Little out and up move. Edwards didn't buy it. And those great hands of Carter betray him there.
We're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Carter on the ground. Hancock signaled the foul, but not which team is going to be assessed. Looked like Carter may have kicked one of the Packers.
Taunting. Defense.
Dick wants to know which number.
Pick a number. There's about 7 of them.
One thing at a time here.
Well, the first thing was Carter got clubbed on the collarbone after he missed the pass. That started it all.
Yeah, that was legal.
Taunting. Defense number 34. Continuing action foul. We will penalize 15 yards from the previous spot. It will be 4th down.
So what are they doing moving the ball back to the 19-yard line? There's Carter. Ooh, and Carter kicking Antoine Edwards.
Look at Randy Moss.
They're going to spot the ball. They still have it now. They spot it at the 23-yard line.
Randy says, let's get out of here, Babalu.
Yeah, the amazing thing is they called it on Mike McKenzie,
yes.
and it certainly wasn't McKenzie involved in that play. He came a little bit late to the pile.
And what it is, it's an automatic, it's a first down. So you go from a punting situation. There was a pretty shoddy explanation from Hantak. The bottom line is it's first down at the 22-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. And this is Smith picking up 3. Hantak had said 4th down, not even close. It's first down on the automatic first down for unsportsmanlike conduct, so it's 2nd down and 7.
And moments ago, the Packers were celebrating an apparent touchdown. Now they lose their poise and get a penalty that gives the Vikings a first down and gets them decent field position now.
Hantak's always distracted in the rain. He worries about his Grecian Formula 40 running.
2nd and 6. The Packers have gone from a touchdown to forcing a punt to this. From the 26-yard line. Smith cuts it back. First down all the way out to the 48-yard line. Tackled by the safeties, Butler and Sharper.
I was talking to Todd Stussy about Robert Smith. He said the offensive line just want to get him to that next level, and by that they mean 10 yards down the field, because Smith has so much speed and so much ability to take it the distance. You saw his patience there. Started out to the left side and brought it all the way back to the right side for a big gain.
22-yard pickup for Robert Smith from the 48-yard line. They call his number again. Flag comes in. Picks up about 9.5.
You know, due in large part to Smith, the Vikes have 11 runs of 20 or more yards this season. You think that would lead the league, but believe it or not, Cincy has 15 runs.
Corey Dillon. Most of them against Denver that one afternoon, too.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
Corbin Lucina.
This Viking offensive line is huge, and they're just mauling now the Packers. There's Lucina, number 63, in the circle. Well engaged there. I'm not so sure that's holding. That looks like a terrible call, unless that left arm was all the way around the back of the defensive player.
1st and 20. Mo Williams now comes into the game in the backfield. Culpepper buying time, looking for more, and Randy adjusts marvelously and takes it to the 20. Worked inside of Sharper. Sharper had him blanketed in. The pass floating. Randy adjusts like no other receiver in the league. Maybe Isaac Bruce is of that ilk, and that's it.
This guy's had the greatest 2 years of any receiver ever in this league up to this point. Unbelievable.
What you do is you combine this ability with 6'4", and that's what you get. You know, he's a pretty good basketball player, and his basketball skills are so evident on plays like this. He's just going up and rebounding this ball. Sharper had it, had position. Moss just took it away easily.
From the 20-yard line on first down. Again, Williams is the sole setback. And the pass is caught at the 15 by Randy Moss. Sharper takes him out of bounds at the 12-yard line after a gain of 8. Second and a short 2 from the 12. Moss has already caught 3 for 70 yards. There's a fade caught by Carter. Tries to get into the end zone and does. What an effort. Making the catch and then dragging McKenzie and pushing him and forcing his way across the goal line.
Boy, that's a tough turn of events for the Pack.
Unbelievable.
They think they have a touchdown down there.
And a real mature throw by Dante Culpepper. Watch him drill the ball to Carter. Doesn't throw the fade, just puts it on a line right in his numbers, and then the strength and desire of Carter is just unmatched by Mike McKenzie. Look at this throw here. Normally the fade is put up in the air. This is on a line, a bullet shot from Culpepper for the score.
Now you think that's just uncanny savvy for a young kid, or he wanted to keep it low because of the wind, Dano?
Chris Carter scoring that touchdown. So you've got Russell Maryland doing the Lambeau leap on a play that was blown dead. They should have forced Minnesota to punt, but they had the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as Alan Rossum runs this kickback. The flag is thrown here to the 23-yard line, and the next thing you know, the Vikings go all the way down the field to score, and another flag comes in at the end of the play. Getting a little chippy out there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it would have been huge for the Pack to get that touchdown down there. It would have returned some of their home field invincibility. They've lost 5 of their last 9 games here at Lambeau, which is pretty unbelievable when you think about the way they used to win every one.
What's amazing, they were 42-5 under Mike Holmgren here, and 7-5 since Holmgren left.
During the return, number 44, 10-yard penalty, first down.
One of only 6,000 rivers in the state to run north.
From the 13-yard line on first down, that's Amon Green up to the 19-yard line.
Vikings must think that the Packers are going to be throwing the ball because they have the wind at their back. So the Vikings have countered with 5 defensive backs. Nickelback Kenny Wright is in the ball game, and now they're bringing in fresh rushers. Ed McDaniel comes back in and Wright goes out. So it's a little bit of a game of chess. These two staffs know each other very well, obviously.
Again, if you tuned in late, Dorsey Levens, who was listed as questionable this week, didn't practice all week, inactive tonight. Their big guy out of the backfield, so Amon Green shoulders the load. 2nd and 4 with the play clock ticking down. And Favre going deep and turning the other way and making the catch is Antonio Freeman, who looked inside, then looked outside, beats the coverage on the play, and is forced out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
A Jim Edmonds-like adjustment on the ball.
Well, what Favre did is he threw it away from Tyrone Carter, 37.
He beat Tate. Tate fell down. First down to the 49-yard line. 8.5 to go in the half. Favre on a bootleg throws. Green makes the catch, and then Griffith shoulders him out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Dennis Green, the longest tenure of any coach in the NFL. A couple of weeks longer than Bill Cowher. More on Dennis. Here's Melissa.
Al, given the fact that it's election eve, it's interesting to note that Dennis Green is fanatical about voting. Not just himself, but also his players. Last month, he handed out information about how to register because many of them didn't know. And, of course, Tuesday's an off day for the players, but he has written on the schedule in big, bold letters, remember to vote. And as for Green himself, he's the perfect model to follow. He said he's always first in line at the polls. He's never been beaten. They open at 7. He gets there at 6. And now, for the record, he wouldn't tell me who he's voting for.
Flag is thrown. Green close to a first down. Dennis Green is a guy whose life is not just football. He is one hell of a coach. The penalty is against the Minnesota Vikings.
Looks like it's Dwayne Rudd who's having a rough night here. Number 57. He's got his right hand. He slid it off. That's why it's just a 5-yard call.
From the 34-yard line, first down. Halfway through the second quarter. Favre floats one deep downfield and adjusting. A flag is thrown as Freeman. 2 flags come in. Dishman with the coverage.
Brett Favre's feeling it tonight. Improv.
And you can tell he's got the wind at his back because he's lofting the ball down the field to Freeman. He made the adjustment on the previous pass. Here's
Pass
Dishman.
interference. Defense, number 25. First down.
Yeah, that little push right there kept Freeman from making the catch, but not for Dishman getting the flag.
Well, the Pack better do it, because you know when the Vikings get the win, they're just going to be lobbing it up left and right like a rebounding drill.
Favre and Freeman, they've been a great combination through the years. They've combined on 47 touchdowns. This time they give it to Green. He goes to the 5. Those 47 touchdowns is a combination the most of any quarterback receiver active combination.
But never won on Monday night, Albie.
No, sir. 10 previous appearances on Monday night. Favre to Freeman, there it is. Favre to Sterling Sharp. And then Lynn Dickey to Paul Kaufman. I'm going to figure that.
Wow.
Second down and a goal from the 5. Favre, a little shovel. He underhands it to Green for a touchdown.
Oh, man, that is beautiful stuff.
Yeah, they talk about Favre being more conservative this year, but in the back of his mind,
Flag down.
We do have a flag down. It's going to be against Minnesota. You know that Favre is a gambler. He's willing to do whatever it takes.
Holding. Defense, number 25. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
There are not many quarterbacks that would even think about making a play like this, let alone being able to pull it off. Watch the pressure by McDaniel, the underhand flip, perfect spiral, touchdown Pack.
Well, I knew he was a gambler, but I didn't know he was an underhanded one.
Look at that perfect throw and a great catch.
Nice rotation.
Longwell for the point after.
I actually wrote a local scribe this week. I'll tell you after this play.
Longwell kicks off, fielded by David Palmer at the 10. Flag thrown, Palmer to the 29. Yes, sir.
I actually read an article in a local paper this week that said, "Is Green Bay burn out on the Packers?" And from the crowd's reaction tonight, I don't know what the heck this guy's thinking writing that article. I mean, the Packers are the centerpiece of this universe up here.
Dick Hantak indicating the penalty against Minnesota. Well, Green Bay's not burned out on them. Neither is Milwaukee. This is what you call a Milwaukee game. They sell 2 games a year.
Holding during the return, number 56. That penalty is declined. Holding during the return, number 81. 10-yard penalty. First down.
From the 18-yard line on first down. A roaring throng at Lambeau Field. Robert Smith picks up a yard.
Speaking of even, Al, going to Eric, sorry.
Here's Eric. Here's ED.
Well, Dan, Al, one thing about Randy Moss is we know he can catch the football, but Randy's been catching some real big fines here lately. Now, last year he got a $10,000 fine for what they call excessive language against an official. And that same year he got a $40,000 fine in St. Louis for squirting an official with a water bottle. Now, $15,000 was knocked off of that fine if he didn't have any more problems with an official. Well, he did last week. He grabbed an official by the arm because he thought he was pass interference. So the $15,000 was tacked back on, so it was a total of $40,000. So that means if an official is wrong, he's still always right.
On second down and 9, it is intercepted by Darren Sharper, who's having a great season. The pass intended for Moss. And then Mike McKenzie takes the shovel, and down he goes at the 39-yard line.
Well, in our coaches meeting with Sherman the other day, we asked him who's been a really great surprise for you over the first half of the season. First name he mentioned, Darren Sharper.
That's probably because this is his 5th interception of the year, and this is a young quarterback mistake, throwing late over the middle and throwing too high for Randy Moss. Sharper just playing his responsibility in a deep zone coverage, was there for the easy catch, and then the heads-up lateral. That looked like it might have been a forward lateral.
Right, and that's what they're calling it. That is the call. They will retain possession, but it will cost them the yardage because of the forward pass.
Well, any pass thrown tonight without any zip on it is going to eep us up into the air with the wind like it is.
Especially going into the wind as Culpepper was at that time. Here's the forward lateral. Actually, the NFL considers that a forward pass.
That's correct.
No such thing as a lateral in the NFL
That is
lexicon.
correct. There's a forward pass and a backward pass to the 44-yard line. 5:49 remaining in the opening half. That's Sharper's 5th interception of the season, and the first since game 4. Here is Favre on the run, and then dropping it is Tyrone Davis, the tight end.
He's just too wide open. Too wide open. Favre can't believe it. He threw him a perfect strike on the run. He had his choice of Amon Green and the short flat. That brought the linebacker up, and boy, you just hit a big old tight end right in the hands there with a perfect bullet. Packers got good field position now, best field position of the night for them. They've got to be able to convert on wide open plays like that one.
Well, sometimes you come back to the guy to keep his head in the game, but that was such a bad miss. I think Brett's off him for a while.
There are some other options.
Minnesota with 1 more yard in a 10-10 game on 2nd down 10. Favre dancing, slip sliding, and then that one is dropped by Amon Green. And Favre goes down.
And you can't come up from behind unless you're a friend of Julius Caesar named Brutus.
3rd down and 10. Flag again. That is caught at the 31-yard line for a momentary first down by Freeman, pending the penalty.
Boy,
no first down. Penalty against Green Bay.
Five penalties now against Green Bay. The Vikings have had 6 in a very messy first half.
but Dan, Brett really does look all the way back from that tendonitis. I mean, it's unbelievable from what we saw early in the year.
Offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 3rd down.
Frank Winters.
There's Frank right in the middle, number 52. Kylie Wong, also number 52, comes on the pass rush. And that's, yeah, I think that's holding. That's a bear hug there by Frank Winters on the middle linebacker of the Vikings. Both hands around him. But Dennis, you're right. Talked to Favre about the tendonitis. He said he did what he was told. He rested it, got a nice cortisone shot in it, and it's gone. He feels great.
3rd down and 20 from the 46-yard line. Favre slips one off the fingertips of Green. So Green drops 2 on this drive, and the Packers cannot capitalize on the Darren Sharper interception. Bidwell's kick is a floater that is fair caught by David Palmer at the 23-yard line with 4:58 to go in the opening half.
You hate to see an owner like Bill Bidwell making a buck on the side here, punting him. I mean, the guy owns a team, really.
Upon further review, there's the quarterback comparison tonight. First down as it's caught by Carter. Carter seeking the first down. Run out of bounds by Tyrone Williams. Here's Melissa Stark.
Al, Leroy Butler's determination, the fact that he is a leader on this team should come as no surprise. He is a guy that does not give up easily. He was born with heavily pigeon-toed feet. Doctors had to break his ankles, put braces on, much like the movie Forrest Gump. He couldn't walk. He was actually bound to a wheelchair for much of his youth. When he was 8 years old, his older sister, Vicky, who used to tote him around, accidentally knocked him out of the wheelchair. That's when he realized he could walk. Doctors told him he'd never be able to play sports. It would hurt his feet too much. He said it hurt in high school. It hurt a lot in college at Florida State, and it hurts when he plays on the turf, Al, but it hasn't slowed him down a bit.
11 pretty magnificent years for Butler out of Florida State as Smith takes it up to the 37. You know, earlier I talked about this being a Milwaukee game. For years, the Packers played a couple of games a season in Milwaukee, and then they decided about 4 or 5 years ago they were going to move all the games here to Green Bay. But for all of their loyal fans there, they offered them 2 games a season plus a preseason game. So the Milwaukee contingent buys games 2 and 5 and 1 preseason game. So it's a different crowd tonight than you'll see in the next home game.
Is Milwaukee close to here?
Well, it's about a 2.5-hour drive.
I had no idea. We're in Ice Station Zebra.
2nd down and 6. Culpepper. That is caught by Carter at the 47-yard line.
Big block.
And tackled at the 49 of of Green Bay by Leroy Butler, first down. Randy Moss with the block.
Couple of great blocks on this play. First of all, Culpepper gets a great job by his fullback, Jim Kleinsaucer, right there as he takes Niall Diggs down. What a great throw by Dante Culpepper, showing his strength to make that throw with his body opened wide open. Butler letting Carter get to the inside. Now another good block on the outside here by Randy Moss right there.
Kleinsaucer's not a fullback. He's a left tackle in a fullback's uni.
Culpepper looks like a left tackle. From the 48, here's Robert Smith. Taken down by Nate Wayne after a gain of 6. Another 3 minutes to go, first half. The Vikings trying to go to 8-1. Pack trying to go to 4-5.
John Davis, 86, getting a double team help with Todd Stussy there. That's the power we talked about with this big offensive line. Robert Smith loves running behind it. And this turf, this brand new turf here at Lambeau Fields, costs Robert Smith a big gain as he falls down.
2nd and 3 from the 41-yard line. Culpepper going deep, and it's picked off in the end zone by Darren Sharper. And then Sharper gets up. He could have stayed down and runs it back out to the 16-yard line.
You're so used to seeing Randy Moss go in front of the DB and cut it off before it gets there. I'm a little surprised to let it go.
I think the wind carried the ball to the inside of the field. Moss was along the sideline. Sharper had him played perfectly, and this time he reacts correctly to the ball while it's in the air and gets his second pick. Watch Moss go down the sideline, zone coverage here as Williams drops the coverage. Sharper comes over, but look how far Moss has to go to the ball. He saw that the wind had taken care of it and brought it to the inside where Sharper was.
You're right, he had no chance. That's how great Moss is. I was half expecting him to spear that.
He had 2 against Arizona this year, too.
From the 15, Favre on first down, guns it up to the 28-yard line. That is Antonio Freeman looking for a face mask call. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Tackle by Kenny Wright. So the Pack has it. 2 minutes to go. Mic'd up at the half tonight. It's Randy Moss. Here's a preview.
I know my kids watching. I know my hood watching back in West B. I know everybody watching. Hey, anybody watching this? One time.
Sounds good to me. The rating should be great. Here's Favre throwing on first down after the 2-minute warning, and that's caught by Bill Schrader. Lost the ball after the whistle. Brett Favre whacked by Kenny Wright. He would have had to come out of the game for one play had they not taken a timeout. So they use it there. He's okay. First down up at the 42-yard line.
0 sacks with 2 rookie tackles. Gotta like that.
Blitz again, going deep. Oh, almost a great catch by Bradford, but he couldn't hold on. Double covered on the play. Tyrone Carter and Chris Dishman had him.
Okay, Favre is just throwing some marvelous passes here. Look at the coverage by Dishman. It's perfect. The ball is even better, but Dishman ripping the ball loose with his left hand. Heads up veteran play by Chris Dishman. But look at this, another perfect pass by Brett Favre. Packers started this drive on their 15-yard line. Their 2 previous touchdown drives have all covered more than 80 yards.
Favre is completely dialed in, though. I mean, they're having to make amazing plays to stop him.
Second down and 10. Schrader in motion to the inside. Favre throws off his back foot, caught underneath by Green, who goes out of bounds to conserve some time with 1:23. John Randall put the pressure on Brett that time.
You know, Randall reads the other team's press guides to read the bio of players so he can come up with stuff to get into their heads with. He's like Lecter on Miggs.
He's a lot more effective when he's getting sacks, too, so he can get closer to the guys. Only has 2 this year.
Favre gunning it for Freeman, and that's incomplete in amongst a trio of defensive backs. And it's 4th down. Kenny Wright was there. And Carter as well. 4th down and 5 now for Green Bay with 1:18 left. When Minnesota gets the ball back, they have 2 timeouts.
Look at the gun, though, and no wince in the eyes after he threw it. Oh, man, they are within angstroms.
And they're close, too. Inches.
Oh, man. Nice to see Brett back. The NFL needs him.
Josh Bidwell kicking with the wind. Fair catch call for made by Palmer at the 13-yard line.
Not that he was away anywhere, but he's not an 80 QB rating guy, man.
3-time MVP. Only guy to ever do that.
From the 13-yard line, 1st down for the Vikings. And they begin on the ground with Robert Smith up to the 15-yard line.
Just teasing you, Ralphie. You make a lot of sense, but you've got no chance back.
2nd down.
I went through that with Perot. Can't do it anymore.
2nd and 9 from the 15-yard line. That is caught and then dropped by John Davis up to the 20 with 44 seconds. Kind of a curious call there.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We've got a 10-10 game, and Dennis has given equal time to almost everybody tonight.
More to come.
Yeah.
Just trying to, I don't want to spread it around. You don't want to be favoring one guy.
We're going to add your zingers to the 3rd quarter stats tonight.
It's an election day. I'm all pumped up. Politics, football, everything you can ask for.
3rd down 9. Culpepper out of the shotgun. Dante buying time, looking for Moss, who adjusts again, makes the catch at the 49-yard line. Tackled by Darren Sharper, and the Vikings are going to take a timeout here. Timeout Minnesota with 29 seconds, and now they're down to 1 timeout as they try to work their way into field goal range.
Got to give that offensive line a lot of credit. This play took about 5 seconds, but how many times have we seen this? Moss stopping, adjusting, going up and getting it in front of a defensive back.
33-yard gain. Great rivalry. The Packers and the Vikings. The guy who's been a big part of it, Robert Smith. Here are his thoughts.
I never have to turn my dial up. My dial's always up. I don't care who we're playing. Every team in this league has talent to win. And the rivalry, those kind of things, I don't really concern myself with them, or concern myself with them. I think that's where people tend to try and play out of their means, and they tend to make mistakes more when they're trying to turn up the dial. And so if you always have it up, you don't have to worry about that.
It's a heck of a backdrop we got there. Looks like Binion's in Vegas.
It is. Randy Moss, 36 TDs in 41 games. They're trying to work their way into field goal range for Gary Anderson, who's been much better through the years on turf than grass. And on a windy night from the 49-yard line, it is not caught by Moss on a slant, who looks around for a flag. This time, just ask the official verbally. 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 10 at the 48-yard line. 1 timeout left. Here's a screen. It is fielded by Smith, and he gets into field goal range, takes it to the 29, stays in bounds, though, forcing them to use their last timeout. And they do. So right now, you're looking, if they gain no more yardage, a 47-yard field goal attempt for the leading scorer in the history of the National Football League. And there he is warming up, Gary Anderson of the Vikings. Now they have to be careful about leaving some time on the clock as the pass is thrown to the outside, and Carter can't fingertip it. That takes 4 seconds at 2nd down.
Took 4 seconds and about 6 yards that Gary Anderson could have used.
Haven't seen Carter drop many of those since Philly.
Now he's got absolutely the greatest hands in football.
Guy's got hands like George Willing.
You remember everything.
Huh?
World Trade Center.
Of course you remember George.
Of course I do.
Spider-Man up the side.
One of the staples of wide world of sports for years.
You know what he used? He didn't have suction cups. He had that Lester Hayes goop.
2nd and 10 at the 30-yard line. From the gun. And that is thrown out of bounds. They had 2 receivers in the same area, Hatchett and Walsh. Now they have to bring with 8 ticks left. Anderson started to come out, and now they're going to keep him on the bench.
You're right, Ted.
So they have to go to the end zone here. 3rd down and 10. Mo Williams and David Palmer in the backfield. Or get real lucky and complete it and somehow still get out of bounds. And that's nearly intercepted with 3 seconds left. So it's 4th down, and now they'll bring Anderson in.
Now you run the risk of a field goal block. Remember Tampa Bay, Warren Sapp blocked a long field goal of Gary Anderson when we had him on Monday night. And when you have a long field goal like this, Anderson will tell you, you've got to drive the ball. That means you can't afford to kick it too high, especially in a wind like we have tonight.
48-yarder. Berger will hold it. Mitch Palmer will snap it to try to give Minnesota the lead on the final play of the half. And Anderson's kick is good from 48. He can still do it.
That's a heck of a kick.
Fantastic kick.
That's 2018 points for Gary Anderson, the leading scorer in the history of the National Football League. And it ends the first half. Minnesota up by 3. Let's go to Eric Dickerson.
Well, Coach, that drive was a good run of mix and pass, wasn't it?
Well, it was. I think we're trying to do a good job of running and passing. We're just getting so many penalties. I think that's going to be the difference. Hopefully in the second half we've had our share of penalties, get the ground game going, try to mix in some passes.
What about these turnovers you're having today?
Well, I think the biggest thing, we start playing a little bit better defense in the second quarter. That's good. We got to bring that same kind of intensity into the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Thank you.
And we start the second half at Lambeau Field as we take a look at the numbers through the first 30 minutes.
And the big thing as far as the passing yards concerned, Dante Culpepper 10 out of 18, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Brett Favre 11 out of 19, 137 and 1 touchdown, no interception. But those are those penalties there that have been killing the Vikings that Denny Green was talking about.
Short kick, Longwell's kick, fielded by Mo Williams, who brings it back up to the 39-yard line. They start with good field position. Let's check in with Melissa.
Al, I talked to Mike Sherman at halftime. He's obviously happy with the 2 long drives, but he said we dropped way too many passes. We had way too many penalties. As far as defense, he said we need to develop a pass rush, and we need to start tackling better.
All right, the report from Sherman, whose team is trying to get closer to 500, coming in 3-5. Mike, his first head coaching job since he was the head coach in 1980 at Stamford, Connecticut High School. Short drop, deflected pass, so Culpepper's first pass knocked away by, I think, Russell Maryland.
After Russell Maryland's Lambeau leap, I'm surprised to see he could get up and block Culpepper's pass.
2nd and 10, they give it to the up back. Slicing through the middle at Jim Kleinsaucer, the lineman-sized fullback, who gained 6 up to the 45-yard line.
You know, Kleinsaucer's so big he ought to be Klein Cupboard. 280 pounds. Klein Cupboard, Dennis, you get it? Saucer, Cupboard, Klein, forget it.
I was just about
one shot a week, and you're not paying attention.
Klein Cupboard is Moliere-esque. I had it written down. I was just about to go to it. I'm just shocked that you...
Oh, was that on your paper, too?
No.
Log on to Dan Fouts to find. 3rd down and 4 at the 45-yard line.
And then log off.
Culpepper. That's caught first down. That's Chris Walsh making his first catch of the night.
This is part of the offensive package that Sherman Lewis loves. You got both these great wide receivers in Moss and Carter. But you can bring a Chris Walsh in the game and Matthew Hatchett go 4 wide and really give the Packer secondary a lot of problems.
Average of 25-8 for Randy Moss tonight. His average for all Monday night games he's played is 24-4. So having his regular Monday night.
Regular game against Green Bay, too. 5th time he's faced Green Bay in his career. 4 times over 100 yards. Counting tonight. Smith. Robert Smith to the 39-yard line. A flag is thrown. Back at the 50. This one's coming back. It's against the Vikings for holding.
Boy, the Vikings have had so many holding calls, especially on plays to the perimeter, such as this one. Looked like Corey
Offense,
Stringer
number 77.
gets the call that time.
10-yard
The big
penalty.
Ohio State
Repeat the down. First down.
offensive tackle.
Started every game first down from the 40-yard line now. Culpepper. And down he goes. Gets sacked back at the 26. David Bowens knifes through.
Real bonus for the Packers to get Bowens back in the defensive line. He's been bothered by an ankle problem. Here he is, number 96, working against Todd Stussy.
Oh,
Great move by Bowens, and now pulling down big Dante Culpepper. 3.5 sacks on the year for the Packers, for David Bowens right here, and they need him to put that type of pressure on Culpepper.
strong move on a stud like Stussy, too.
13-yard sack. Former Bronco came here, now playing for his defensive coordinator Ed Donatel, who is at Denver. This one is no play. It was whistled dead before the start, and that's another Viking penalty for illegal procedure.
Ball start. Offense, number 85. Moving prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Andrew Jordan. Here's Eric Dickerson.
Well, I talked to Robert Smith yesterday, and I asked him why does he feel like he's playing so much better. I thought it'd be the injuries. He said, no, Eric, it's not about the injuries. He says, I feel like I've learned the game of football a lot better now. I came out a little bit early. He says, even in 8 years, it took him to learn. And really, I can relate to that because I thought I knew football in my first 2 years, but later on, I think you learn it just a little bit better.
Smart guy, majored in pre-med at Ohio State. Second and a mile as Robert Smith picks up about a quarter of a mile,
Believe me,
relatively speaking, to the 33.
after his first 2 years with ED sitting there right around 4,000 yards, I'm sure the rest of the league thought he had learned it already, too.
The underdogs are trailing by 3 right now. 13-10 Vikings. And 3rd and 27.
Flag!
And that's thrown into traffic and intercepted on the pick by Mike McKenzie. Off the deflection. McKenzie inside the 40. Banged down at the 32. The pass intended for Randy Moss. And another pick of Culpepper.
Pack needed it. The crowd's reignited.
Well, Culpepper's made a couple of mistakes tonight. He gets glued in here with Randy Moss a little bit too much. Zone coverage by the Pack. Look at the linebacker depth by Wayne and Todd McBride. The ball's tipped up in the air. McKenzie gets his first interception of the year after getting 6 last year as a rookie. Great big play for the Packer defense. But again, Dante Culpepper zeroing in on Randy Moss. Must have been listening to me because I would have probably done the same thing.
Well, Nate Wayne's nickname's Bump, and he played a little nice bump and run on Randy there.
From the 34, here goes Favre now, trying to cash in. Caught at the 30 by William Henderson, and that's a gain of about 6. The Green Bay Packers tonight, 2 previous interceptions, couldn't cash in on either one as they were forced to punt in both instances, and now number 3.
And this is a good illustration of how Favre has maybe tailored his game a little bit under Mike Sherman's offense. Normally after a turnover, the quarterback likes to go deep, but the Vikings had the coverage there, and Favre had to come off to Henderson. Good play.
2nd and 4 from the 29-yard line. Amon Green. Good second effort. Flag down, though, at the 32-yard line. For the moment, a first down, and it appears it will stand because it's offside Minnesota.
Well, the Vikings must have been lined up in the neutral zone because nobody moved. Little draw play here for Amon Green behind his big fullback, William Anderson, and Frank Winters.
Penalty is declined. First down.
Amon ducked that one up in there like Dorsey Levens.
Well, you know, you don't expect him to be a powerful runner up inside, but he prefers to run between the tackles. He's got great speed to break one.
From the 22, that is caught, and no, incomplete. Henderson did not have control of the ball, covered by Kenny Wright. Here's Brett Favre talking about his style of play.
what got me to this chair today talking to you is being a risk taker, making mistakes at times, but being able to make plays when called upon. And that hasn't changed. The difference in our football team right now, and in my way of thinking, is we're young, we're inexperienced, we're not able to make up a big deficit, and that's been proven every game we played in. Either we won or it's come down to the last drive of the game.
Favre hitting Schrader here to the 15-yard line.
Finally, somebody gives Brett a little help. He's had 3 pretty easy drops on him. Schrader reaches behind him and makes a nice grab.
Big play here, 3rd down and long 2.
Sherman said he didn't want to get into a shootout with the Vikings. He wants Brett to just read the defense, read his progressions, but he knows in the back of the mind he's got a great gunslinger to win any shootout.
3rd and a long 2 from the 14-yard line. On the ground.
There's a short.
Coming up a little short. Green hit by Tyrone Carter. Wow.
Tyrone Carter was being congratulated by Keith Thibodeau, and they did a little chest bump, and he drilled Thibodeau. Watch him drill Ahman Green here on this play. Number 37 right there is Carter. We told you about him being a hitman.
Only 5'8", but a great tackler.
This is a 31-yard attempt by Ryan Longwell, and that will tie the game. Ryan Longwell's kick pulled in 7-yard line by David Palmer. From the 27-yard line, his Vikings with the game time begin here. Giving it to Robert Smith. Again, a lot of room to the outside, and Smith has a 1st down, gain of 13. Here's Melissa.
Al, it's been a very emotional week for Packers wide receiver coach Ray Sherman. His father, Ernest, died at the age of 81. He missed 2 days of practice to attend his funeral on Friday, and compounding that is the fact that he was the Vikings offensive coordinator last year. He was heavily criticized in that position. He ended up resigning at the end of the year rather than accepting a demotion by Denny Green to wide receivers coach. He has not spoken to Green since. He says he's taking the high road. That's what his father always taught him, but that tonight is personal.
Here's Robert Smith. That's been a pretty tough couple of years for Ray Sherman because he took a lot of heat in Pittsburgh, and then he went to Minnesota, and now here, but that's the peripatetic life of an assistant coach.
Well, listen, I think my feeling on Denny Green is he thinks you're doing the job, he's going to keep you. I don't think the guy's a political creature, really. I think he's a proficiency creature. And if he felt the need to let go of Sherman, I'm sure he had his legitimate reasons. He's the head guy. Can't fight City Hall.
The irony is he took Sherman Lewis from here, who'd been a long-time offensive coordinator, and now Sherman Lewis calls the plays for Minnesota as Mo Williams seeks the 1st down and has it at the 50-yard line.
Omeyer wants Meek on him. Dust, vapor, mist, a vague memory.
Yeah, I get a feeling that Denny Green doesn't want to see any more passes. We've seen 3 straight runs, 2 to the perimeter, and now 1 right up the gut as Mo Williams gets a rare carry, but picks up a 1st down. So the offensive line of the Vikings right now are in control. It's like the governor there.
Yes,
it?
Governor Ventura's in amongst us.
That's actually him.
From the 49-yard line, 1st down for the Vikings. Smith again for a couple.
Well, the more you talk to Denny Green, the more you come away shaking your head at how smart the guy is. I mean, it's just amazing how astute he is. He's talking about leaving Culpepper in the game to the end last week against Tampa Bay, and he said, hey, if I'm going to let the kid drive the Mercedes 500 SL when we're 7-0, he's going to stay in the game when things get ugly and cloudy. It's really, he's got a great street logic. He talks about it as Harrisburg logic. You ask him about the rain tonight, he says, hey, you can play wherever you're man enough to play at. I just like how pragmatic and hip he is.
The backup quarterback to Culpepper is Bubby Brister. Lest you forgotten. Who hasn't taken a snap this season. 2nd and 8. Looks like the old Oklahoma wishbone. 1st down.
Yeah, if Jack Mildren was inflated like the Michelin Man.
Dante Culpepper, picked first or in the first round. A look at him and some of the things he can do.
Well, the speed has got him in the end zone 4 times this year, but with his size at 6'4", he sees over the line extremely well, but it's his poise in the pocket, composure that has him with the Vikings with a 7-1 record. But right now tonight, he's made some mistakes that are rare for Culpepper this year.
What was that noise?
Interceptions.
That noise sounded like some
Timeout.
post-bratwurst
Green Bay.
deal.
Their first timeout.
What do you mean? You're upwind.
After the timeout by Green Bay, first down Minnesota. A little problem with the handoff there. No gain for Robert Smith.
No gain because middle linebacker Bernardo Harris just blew up the play, came on a run blitz and shot the gap perfectly. And Packers had seen enough of that strong side run. Let's check him out. Here he is, number 55. He's going to hit this gap right here. Takes 2 men out of the blocking scheme there, Burke and Kleinsasser.
And here is a near sack. And it turns out to be a sack to the 45-yard line. Niall Diggs put the pressure on. And then Cledius Hunt is the man who gets the sack.
The rookie now, Diggs, coming hard. You better bring the whole peloton with Culpepper. Kid's tough to bring down.
Now he's bigger than Diggs. Diggs is 230 pounds. This guy outweighs him by almost 40 pounds. Just too many people, though, as here's Hunt, number 97. He's going to clean up on this play. But that's a total team sack. Great effort by the Packers. Give the rookie some credit on the blitz, too.
3rd and 17. Culpepper sacked 3 times tonight, intercepted 3 times tonight, and not much of a factor running the ball. 3 carries, 14 yards. Swings it out into the flat to Smith. Smith seeking the first down and has it, and he'll have the touchdown. Robert Smith.
What a low rider this kid is, man. It's beautiful to watch.
I go back to what Chris Carter said about the Packers secondary being small and poor tacklers. The Packers started off the game missing tackles. We saw Mike McKenzie. This is an outstanding effort by Robert Smith. Not quitting, not being satisfied, catching the ball and going out of bounds. He goes down the sidelines, breaks 2 tackles. Right there, Leroy Butler, the last one, who's a very solid tackler. Smith made it look easy.
That is Robert Smith's first touchdown reception in 2 years. His last touchdown catch here on a Monday night in '98. On 3rd and 17, and Bonnie Holiday is being assisted off the field.
He's starting to come on as a receiver, Smith. Al, last week he had his career high 7 receptions against Tampa Bay.
Culpepper reading the coverage, coming down to his outlet receiver. McBride misses there. There's Butler with an arm tackle, just goes flying by the high leg and high knee action of Robert Smith.
I just like the way he glides, man.
He's smooth. Reminds me a lot of an old number 26 for the Vikings, Clinton Jones.
Gary Anderson, and the kick is good. That's another pretty good job done by Berger. Cold night at Lambeau. Mitch Berger to kick off. Alan Rossum to return it for the Packers. Rossum from the 8. And Rossum into Viking territory. Can he be caught from behind? Yes! At the 2-yard line by Kenny Wright.
Wow. Surprised they got Rossum from behind.
This is an outstanding return, obviously, all the way down to the 2-yard line. It started up the middle. He broke to the outside. but the Packers don't give up. There is Kenny Wright, number 20. Watch his effort. He stays with the Rossum as he has to make a cut to the outside. Here comes Wright from out of bounds almost with the diving tackle. Touchdown saving tackle by Kenny Wright.
Well,
there's the blocking. You got to make one guy miss. He makes Morrow miss there, and then he just outruns Wright to begin with. Wright goes out of bounds, but that's okay. Comes back in, and with the dive, he saves the touchdown.
90-yard return. First and goal at the 2. Favre and Davis got hung up. No flag. Pressure put on that time.
that's like throwing up a lob wedge at Carnoustie. Not going to play in this weather.
Gabe Northern with the coverage on the play. It is second down and goal.
That was similar to the touchdown play that when Favre was under pressure and had to underhand it to Ahman Green. That time pressure again, and he just, as you said, Dennis, he kind of got into that one a little bit. Packers have got to score a touchdown here. They can't waste that great return of Rossum's.
Green fighting his way for a touchdown.
Yeah, give it to Gabe.
That's paying off that great return by Allen Rossum. 2 plays to get in the end zone and tie this game, or at least come within an extra point of tying it up. Told you the Packers were desperate. They're playing like a desperate team right now.
Longwell to try to tie the game.
It's away, it's away.
And so in this game, the Vikings have taken the lead on 4 occasions.
Just pay Shanahan the money, Al.
As this kick is taken at the 8-yard line by David Palmer, who brings it back up to the 24-yard line. Back to the touchdown.
Ahman Green's got great explosiveness. He gets a great job of lead block there by William Henderson. A couple other blocks to look at. He runs over Kenny Wright to get in the end zone. But here is Wall on the outside there. And then look at this block here. That is the rookie Mark Tauscher working against John Randall. Stands him up.
From the 27-yard line, Robert Smith, here he goes again, and Robert Smith to the 40 for a first down. Vikings trying to take the lead for a 5th time. Here's Melissa.
Alan, update on Vonnie Holliday. You saw him being helped out of the game just a few minutes ago. Well, before that series, he had his left ankle taped. Now he just had his right ankle taped. It looked like they were checking him for a high ankle sprain. No word yet on whether he will return, but he's walking around and testing it out on the sidelines.
There he is. Cledius Hunt is in to spell him right now as Robert Smith has gone to the 100-yard mark. 16 carries for exactly 100 yards.
Who's in to replace him?
Cledius Hunt.
All right.
You've heard of him. Off back carrying, gain of 3. That's Jim Kleinsasser up to the 43-yard line. Scoring summary tonight. Well, the Vikings with 4 leads, and then each time the Packers have answered.
And those 3 interceptions where Dante Culpepper has taken Randy Moss out of the game.
Injured. Well, that's John Theory, so you have both ends on the shelf right now, with Holliday trying to work his way back into the game. And here's the other end, the former Bear, John Theory.
Randy Moss has yet to catch a pass here in the second half, nor has Chris Carter.
There's your scoring summary. Vikings took the early lead. Longwell matched that. Carter with a 12-yard reception, and Green matched that. Then Anderson kicked that field goal at the end of the first half. Longwell here in the third quarter tied the game. You saw Smith on a 3rd and 17, and then after the great Rossum run back, Ahman Green took it in from 2 to tie the game 20-20.
And pretty amazing how everybody's handling the ball on PAT's field goals tonight. It's really a treacherous night for holders, and the guys have done a good job.
And probably another reason why David Palmer is the punt returner for the Vikings. instead of Troy Walters because of his experience, and especially in this win.
Well, we were down on the field before the game watching the punter warm up, and it's inconceivable that you can even field the punts coming down in this wind.
David Bowens comes in for Theory. Bowens earlier had a 13-yard sack. 2nd and 7 from the 43, late third quarter. Smith cuts it back up to the 49-yard line. 3rd and short. Here's Eric again.
Well, Al, I've been watching Robert Smith run the football tonight. On his touchdown run, the defensive backs are trying to hit him in his legs, and he's literally stepping over them. As he runs around the corner, it almost looks like they're afraid to tackle him. Now, for a running back, that's what you like. I know how it feels in the fourth quarter. You want to pound them. You like to make a defensive back literally afraid of you, and that's what he's doing right now.
Another big night for him, averaging 6.2 per carry, coming in averaging 5.2.
Well, Denny Green's pretty cut and dry about salary cap matters, and he says that this guy gets a big piece of the pie after the season.
3rd down, short 2. Smith again, great tackle by Bowens. So Theory comes out, Bowens comes in, great stop in the backfield. 4th down.
Yeah, and the reason he's in the game is because of those injuries and because of his quickness. From the left side of the screen, he's going to knife in here just as Robert Smith gets the ball, and with a sure tackle around both ankles, keeps him from picking up that 1st down. That's a great play by David Bowens. Totally unblocked, but also with great speed to get Smith.
Here is Mitch Berger's first punt of the night. Alan Rossum is back to receive it. Line drive, fielded at the 13. Rossum with a flag thrown, and another one now. And this one will look pretty good, but it's going to come back. All that for nothing.
Tyrone Williams holding way back inside the 20-yard line, so that beautiful return by Rossum is going to come way back.
Way back.
What do you keep hitting me? What do you want here? I keep getting hit from behind. I think they want us to sit down. They're going to shoot us on camera.
It's our man, Jeff Bentley.
Just getting hit in the ribs constantly.
Hey, Al, how about that? He's just doing a couple of games and he's already directing us.
I'm not directing him. I thought somebody was assaulting me.
They were.
Holding during the return. Number 37 will penalize half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
Just waiting for Mills Lane to step in with the rabbit punch thing.
Pretty cool scene here, isn't it?
It's a little cool. You feel like Patrick McGowan. I want you to put a rocket in that submarine, shoot it through the ice, and get me the zebra. It's a little ice station zebra.
There you are, Den Dude.
I love you in the hood.
I spent the last few years with Howard Hughes watching zebra.
You're Howard
Sit
Hughes.
down.
What? Jeez, Anna.
Green Bay 1st down from the 8-yard line. Ahman Green swinging to the outside, and Rudd will force him out of bounds up at the 13-yard line. Final play of the quarter. Here's Green turning it upfield and ends the 3rd quarter with a 1st down to the 19-yard line. So we have played 3 at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. We begin the 4th quarter with Ahman Green taking the ball up to the 22-yard line.
Did you miss me, boys? Had to use the loo. It's in Wausau.
Used to be in Sheboygan. They moved it a little closer. Robert Smith tonight, 105 yards. Green, again with Dorsey Levens out, averaging a fairly pedestrian 3.1.
But he has been in the end zone twice. Remember that touchdown reception from Brett Favre?
That's right. And Robert Smith, that 47-yard reception from Culpepper. Here is Favre, who gets hit as he throws, and they're going to rule it an incomplete pass because Robert Griffith came in on the safety blitz. Favre's arm was coming forward.
Robert Griffith is a Pro Bowl player, recognized as one of the best strong safeties in the NFL. Watch him come right at Favre with a clean hit. Favre's arm was coming forward, so it was a good call.
A little closer than I thought when I looked at it again on the replay. Numbers through the first 45 minutes coming up.
Really, the rushing has taken over. We've seen that Robert Smith over 100 yards on the night. That gives the Vikings a huge edge in the total yards right there. Time of possession, surprisingly, in the Packers' favor.
See that big Viking logo there? It always reminds me of Billy Brown.
Favre going deep and too deep. Double covered was Bill Schrader, and it will be 4th down. Checking again with Melissa Stark.
Al, everyone from David Bowens to defensive line coach Jethro Franklin has come over to Vonnie Holliday, telling him that they need him back. Don't worry about a little bang. He just got it retaped. Looks like he's coming back in.
Okay, good news for them. There he is. Josh Bidwell, who fought his way back from testicular cancer last year, the punter. That is fair caught and fumbled at the 37-yard line, and Green Bay recovers. David Palmer, who'd been hurt, comes back off the inactive list, muffs it, and Rob Davis recovers it.
How about that for Rob Davis? He's the guy that hikes the ball to Bidwell. Doesn't get in a whole lot of action, but he is their long snapper. David Palmer with the fair catch. We told you this wind is treacherous. Ball hit him high on the shoulder pad. Then he can't get to it. There's Davis, number 60, at the bottom of the pile with a huge recovery off this turnover.
I knew we were going to put the evil mojo on Palmer as soon as we talked about the vet being put in instead of the kid.
Well, thank you. I recall that was me talking about him too, Dennis.
I said we.
Appreciate you taking half that bullet.
From the 35 on 1st down, Favre throws it behind Tyrone Davis.
It's the first time he's looked at Davis since that first quarter drop.
And now they're both even. Davis dropped the one in the first half, and then Favre totally misses a wide open tight end. A lot of equal time tonight.
Both candidates have been served.
David Palmer putting the jacket on the sideline. That's the 4th Minnesota turnover tonight. 3 picks and a fumble. But the Vikings have turned those turnovers, the prior 3, into only 3 points. 2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line. Favre chased and spun down by Talance Sawyer.
Talance. Like Joe Turkey Jones on Bradshaw there.
That was a great tackle by Sawyer. Favre is strong, and he usually does a pretty good job with that straight arm. But Sawyer, a little bit ticked off that that straight arm went right up into his face, which is legal. He gets Favre for a huge loss.
That's the first sack of the night for the Minnesota Vikings, and it's a big one, a 12-yard loss, and sets up a 3rd down and 22 from the 47.
Favre's throwing a heck of a right tonight.
Frankie Winters and Chris Hovan making each other's acquaintance.
Encroachment, defense, number 99. Contact prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Chris, their #1 draft choice out of Boston College.
Favre going with the hard count, getting the rookie who's just a little over anxious there. So they get back 5 yards, but still face a 3rd and 17.
Hey, really impressed by Tauscher and Clifton tonight, huh, Dan? For rookies?
I tell you what, especially Tauscher, 7th-round pick out of Wisconsin where Chris McIntosh was the #1 pick for Seattle.
3rd and 17, trying to at least get into field goal range for a Longwell. And Favre now going for 6 and throws that one to Warsaw. Out of the end zone, intended for Antonio Freeman.
Oh, no, he's just grimacing at the overthrow, I think.
Wincing a little bit. Mike Sherman watching his team now, the beneficiaries of 4 turnovers, but turning them into only 3 points.
You think Favre blew the gun out there, Dano, or he's just disappointed with himself?
I think a little bit of each. Remember, he took that big hit earlier in the game.
Here's Bidwell punting. Fair catch called for, and this time made. at their own 15-yard line. On first down, Dante Culpepper pump fakes over the middle into traffic and incomplete. Secondary does a nice job. Randy Moss, the intended receiver.
Everything's coming in high now, Dano.
Well, you know what it is that teams are starting to see a little bit more film and tape on Dante Culpepper. The Buccaneers last week put a lot of pressure on him. They felt that they got to him. They rattled him a little bit. This is a new experience coming into Lambeau Field on a nasty Monday night. And he's not performed all that well tonight. Looks a lot more unsure of himself than we saw him earlier in the year.
You think he's going to be seeing a lot more blitzing in the upcoming games?
Oh, yeah. All young quarterbacks will see a lot of it.
That pass rating you saw in the fourth quarter is tremendous. He has been a great fourth quarter quarterback. Perhaps changing the play as the play clock ticks down on 2nd and 10. That ball slipped out of his hand. Incomplete. Third down.
Well, I think that's the leading fourth quarter passing rating in the league, and you know how out of his mind Vinny Testaverde has been in the fourth. So to see this kid move ahead of him, he must be doing an incredible job in the fourth.
Third down and 10 now on a wet and blustery night.
Well, you got to give the Packers some credit. Remember, Chris Carter and Randy Moss still have yet to catch a pass here in the second half.
Bonnie Holiday is back in the game, and John Theory is back in the game. So the two ends who each had to come out, who are shaken up, back in for Green Bay. Third down and 10. 12:46 remaining in the fourth. They blitz. He avoids a sack at the 5, then throws. Nearly picked off again by McKenzie.
McKenzie was sitting on it.
Good active defensive scheme for the Packers here. Fourth quarter, Leroy Butler came in on the safety blitz that time. Intended for Matthew Hatchett. Mike McKenzie with the coverage.
Mike McKenzie with the dropped interception and dropped potential touchdown return.
Mitch Berger to punt. With the win, it's a low liner, and a half of a fair catch signal was made by Rossum, and they are going to drop a flag. At the very last second, you saw him put his hand up. He didn't know what he wanted to do, but you can't do that.
He made an invalid fair catch signal.
Exactly.
But the officials did not blow the whistle.
Then they threw the flag.
Very quick and very poor fair catch signal.
Delay of the game. Number 20 of the receiving team signaled for a fair catch. After catching the ball, he ran with the ball. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's a very interesting call, because really you're right, Dan. It's an invalid fair catch signal. Officials that time delay of the game. It's the same call as an invalid fair catch, but the call should have been an invalid fair catch. You can't do what Rossum did. It's not a legal signal. This is Green for a loss of 1 to the 36-yard line. Robert Griffin comes up to make the hit.
Well, it's in these exact situations that Brett Favre became Brett Favre. Let's see if he can pull it out again here.
Yeah, you know what? He's missed his last 5 passes, though.
I know. It's, like I said, it's surprising you're so used to seeing him lead the cavalry charge.
Pretty good adjustment defensively by Green Bay. Meanwhile, in 13 straight games, the Vikings have allowed at least 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter. Second and 11 now from the 36-yard line. Favre going deep and incomplete. Flag is thrown. Intended for Schrader, covered by Tate. 2 flags.
Such a smart throw by Favre. Saw the man-to-man single coverage on the outside. Go ahead, put it up. A lot of misadjusting by defensive backs tonight.
Number 28.
28.
First down.
Going to get that left arm on Schrader right there. You can't do that. Lost sight of the ball and just grabbed for the receiver.
Anytime you have single coverage on the outside on a night like this, why not fling it up there, right, Dano? A nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse. Pass interference or reception, same deal.
Right, blind horse and all.
Old Rod Stewart.
Yeah, I knew that.
Favre with a nod and a blink gives the ball to Green. to the 30-yard line after that 31-yard penalty. Second down and 7. Second and 7 from the 30-yard line. Favre throws that out of bounds to try to get it into Schrader, streaking down the sideline. It'll be third down and 7. And I'm sure they'll be talking about Bobby Ross, who resigns today as the head coach of the Detroit Lions at the age of 63. After yesterday's loss to the Miami Dolphins, Ross just wrote a letter to owner Bill Ford today and said that's it. Gary Moeller is the new head coach at Detroit.
Now, time for Bobby to go. He looked too angry.
Third down and 7. Favre for Schrader again.
Hold it.
Can't hold on.
Yeah, Bobby just didn't look like he was enjoying it in the least.
Tell you what, Brett Favre wasn't enjoying this result either. He put this ball beautifully on the fingertips of Bill Schrader as he beats Chris Dishman here on the post, and Schrader can't pull it in. But, you know, getting back to Bobby Ross, it is rare for a coach to resign with a winning record.
Not since Ron Meyer at New England in '84. This is a 48-yard attempt for Ryan Longwell to try to give, and instead it's a snap to Bidwell, who then Longwell, who punched the ball into the end zone. So they eschew a 48-yard field goal.
That saves him 10 yards.
There's Frank Novak, the special teams coach. Already a 3-figure night and close to a first down, taking it up to the 30-yard line.
Thank you, Al. That's what I was stumbling through there as we went to commercial.
Well,
18-yard quicker, because it would come out to the 38.
Not only was it in effect a fake field goal, it was a bad snap and not a bad job by Longwell to get the kick away.
Yeah, I think he panicked when he dropped the low snap and hurried the kick.
Vikings tonight, 4 turnovers, 124 yards and penalties. But the Packers have turned those turnovers into only 3 points.
Well, you usually see those stats in teams not tied, huh?
From the 30, Smith, gain of 4, second and 6. Check in with Melissa.
Al, an injury update. Packers corner Antoine Edwards has bruised his ribs. He tried on a rib protector, but that didn't work. He is out for the game.
He is out for the game, and they are using, well, Darren Sharper with McKenzie, Tyrone Williams.
You know, Albino, the Vikings have been an anomaly turnover-wise all year long. They're 6 less turnovers, or 6 more turnovers in opposition, and yet they're 7-1. That usually doesn't happen.
Very rare. Second down and 6 from the 34-yard line. Culpepper, the option. Smith. McKenzie bumps him out of bounds up at about the 35-yard line, setting up a third down and 5. Vikings coming in after starting the year with 7 wins, then the loss last week. Detroit, of course, we told you about the Bobby Ross situation, in Tampa Bay, each at 5 and 4. And then the Pack in 4th place in the Central.
You get a feeling from Tampa Bay, though, that team is getting on their second half roll as they did last year.
I bet you the Bears wish they went to Jimmy Miller a little earlier in the season, huh?
After their win against Indy yesterday, third down and 5. The Vikings, the only team in the NFC at the moment with just 1 loss. And they convert as Culpepper hits Walsh. Big conversion here with 8.5 to go in the 4th. First down.
Remember, the Vikings have that wind at their back, so you're going to see some conservative play calling here now, designed to take time off the clock and move the ball down within field goal range for Gary Anderson.
From the 41-yard line. Smith And Nate Wayne grabs him about a yard past the line of scrimmage, and Roberts still picks up 4, carrying Wayne with him. Next week, to the Rockies we go, to Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the Raiders, with a mark of 8-1 and a 6-game winning streak, come in to face the Denver Broncos. Key AFC West battle, big AFC East battle, ESPN 8:30 Sunday night. Jets Colts.
I've never been to Mile High, Al. How is it up there?
Fantastic. You're going to love it. Great scene.
Dennis, there is no air there.
2nd down and 6 from the 44-yard line. And is caught by Andrew Jordan, the tight end. He's tackled inbounds up at the 48-yard line. It's his first catch of the night. It's going to bring up 3rd down and a short 3.
And again, a quarter and a half have gone by here in the second half. Moss and Carter still have yet to catch a pass.
Sherman Lewis, the longtime offensive coordinator here in Green Bay, now calling the plays at Minnesota and working from the sideline. A lot of offensive coordinators, of course, work upstairs. 3rd down and 3 from the 48. Throws, that's caught, 1st down, and there is Carter's first catch of the second half in a key spot. Chris Carter talking about the great catches he has made through the years and why.
Practice. Visualize myself catching them, believing I can do it. It's there's not a lot of passes that I haven't caught either in my mind or practiced them. So I think that's the reason, the repetition of doing it week after week after week after week, then also expecting it out of myself. And also I believe that I just have a gift from God just to be able to catch the football.
Robert Smith has a few gifts himself. He's tackled by Leroy Butler after a gain of 6 to the 42-yard line.
Big first down there, Al. It's probably going to allow the Vikings to get it down at least to the 4-minute mark.
You know, that word expect that Chris Carter used when he's talking about catching all those passes, it's really the difference between a great player and a player that's wanting to be great. A lot of them hope to make that tough catch. Carter expects to.
The great ones put far bigger demands on themselves than a coach ever will, don't they, Dan?
No question.
2nd down, short 5 from the 42-yard line. Clock ticking down to the 5-minute mark as Culpepper gives it to the workhorse again, and this time nothing doing. Stop on the left side of the Green Bay line, headed by Russell Maryland. 23 totes tonight for Robert Smith for 124 yards.
You know, we talked about some of the criticism that Denny Green has got in the last couple of years. Controversial move in letting Randall McDaniel and Jeff Christie go. But this offensive line is a lot bigger. They're playing with great chemistry. Todd Stussy said that a lot of these young guys that they brought in have played with a lot of energy, and that right now they're controlling that line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 5, 10th play of the drive. 2 big 3rd down conversions already on this drive, and they need another one here. Dante throws nearly intercepted, batted away by Butler.
The Butler did it, the cagey vet. Stepping up at the right moment.
4th down, they'll punt. Here's Melissa.
Al, there's an amazing story about Packers punter Josh Bidwell. He missed his entire rookie season last year because of testicular cancer. He had surgery and chemotherapy. He was actually diagnosed 11 days before the first regular season game. So according to league rules, he wasn't on the final roster. So he didn't qualify for health insurance. All of his teammates got together without him knowing and raised over $100,000. He only needed $60,000 for his medical bills, so he gave the rest to charity. And Al, this year he said he's 100%. He goes for regular checkups. Because he caught it early, the chances of recurrence are less than 1%.
Brett Favre, 17 game-winning drives in the 4th period or overtime. Note 15 of those here. Dan Marino with the all-time record, 47 such drives. But Brett's had the cold hand. He is 0 for his last 7, and he breaks that streak here as it's caught by Freeman up at the 22 for a 1st down.
Best pass of the second half for Brett Favre, a three-step drop and letting it rip. Outside coverage by Dishman, that gave Freeman the inside, but even a inside coverage would not stop this perfect bullet from Favre.
That's a bread and butter pattern for him. Let him rip the ball. Let him throw the heater for the rest of the game.
In this half, counting that, he's 3 of 11 for 27 yards.
Watch out.
And down he goes at the 16-yard line in the grasp of one John Randall, his second sack of the night.
Favre again off to the play fake. Just doesn't have anywhere to go. They look like they wanted to throw some type of throwback. But Randall, with his unstoppable motor, gets by Chad Clifton with a great spin move and got by the help too.
Second and 16. Brett swings it out. Amon Green breaks the tackle at the 20 and then picks up about 3 more yards, slipping out of the grasp of Robert Tate, but still about 9 yards shy of the first. From the 23-yard line. Third and 9.
False start. Offense, number 52. Illegal snap. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Frank Winters with a little clutch there.
Again, whistles here.
How many world champions they got a year now in golf now? They're like one every 4 days. They just have something last week. Well, that was the Tour Championship. This is the World Championship. Next week we have another Tour Championship.
Then they have the Tournament of Champions.
Then we go into the Alpha Centauri tournament. You know, as much money as there is on the line at the end of the golf season, you can see Tiger's not completely engaged. If there's not a big claret jug or a Wanamaker, he's just not biting.
Third down and 15 now. Griffith on the blitz. Favre throws. Reaching for it is Antonio Freeman at the 34. The Vikings said it hit the ground. The officials say he made the catch. Now
they're hustling.
The Packers will get up to the line of scrimmage to avoid the opportunity for the Vikings to challenge here. But no, they're wise to that now. All of the teams are getting smarter about that. They throw the red flag before they can do it. When you have a situation like that, the Packers, knowing that it was a call that's going to be challenged anyway, so you get up there and you try to get the snap off no matter what the play is, to preclude the opportunity for the opposition to challenge. But here comes Green to say, I want you to look at this again.
And this is what his coaches upstairs didn't get a chance to see.
Minnesota
because the Packers
is challenging the ruling on the field, that being a completed pass.
That is an incomplete pass.
Right.
Great challenge by Denny Green without the benefit of seeing a replay. This ball clearly goes through Antonio Freeman and hits the ground.
Well, at that point, he's just got to trust number 37, who had the best look at it. He probably looked right over Green and said, forget about going to the booth. Challenge that.
Yep, Tyrone Carter right here on the right side of the screen, Dennis. You're right. He was screaming that the ball did hit the ground.
If you have possession, as Bert Emanuel did last year, they changed the rule because of it, and it hits the ground, it's this year ruled a completed pass. But that time, on this particular play, it doesn't look like he has possession as the ball hits the ground.
Now, never caught it with his hands. Let the ball come all the way through his hands to his body, trying to cradle the ball. But you can see the ball will hit the ground. There's the point of the ball right there. It comes out, hits the ground, he rolls over.
Al, Dan and I were out in the field real early tonight. We went up to Dan actually looked into the replay camera, and some guy came hustling over and shushed us out of there, man.
Yeah, I'd never been to the hood before, you know, and thought I'd check it out. And very nice picture in there.
He told us to spray.
What did he put in there, a quarter?
No, I was out of quarters.
Dano's comped. You know that. He's comped. Don't pull coin in my town, Albino.
This is your town, isn't it?
It's like Gary Marshall in Lost in America. Your entire stay here, comped.
This will be...
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground prior to possession. We have 4th down and 15 on the 17-yard line.
So 4th down, and the Packers to punt.
Now that replay I actually believe was within the prescribed 90 seconds. Some of these things seem like filibusters.
Yeah, it could have been in 10 seconds, though.
I know.
I mean, it hit the ground in the first picture. Let's go.
Dick Hantak is a cautious man.
Chilly out here.
Don't push him. Don't push him.
Vikings are going to get great field position.
Josh Bidwell to punt. David Palmer to return it. From the 40. Palmer, a 16-yard run back. In overtime, you can play up to 15 minutes. At sudden death, one team scores, it's over. If they play 15 minutes, it ends as a tie. 2 timeouts. This period is in effect played under the 4th quarter rules. There are no replay challenges. In other words, the coach cannot challenge, but every play is reviewable by the officials upstairs as they would be at the end of the regulation game and the first half of regulation within 2 minutes.
It's pelting down, folks. I wish you could see the booth here. We've got all the monitors wrapped in saran wrap. It's surreal.
Vicksburger to kick off. Green Bay receiving the kick. It is fielded by Allen Rossum at the 5-yard line, who earlier had a 90-yard return. And this time he has a 14-yard return up to the 19-yard line. This is the 6th time these teams have gone to overtime. Here are the numbers through the first 60 minutes.
And the big thing for Brett Favre is his passing yardage in the second half, just 33 yards passing. Vikings have been able to run the ball well, control the total yardage stats. But in a tie game, these penalties have just killed the Vikings.
If I was Sherman to motivate the team, I'd just send Favre out and say, you call the plays, my man.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
From the 18-yard line, they begin with a run by Green. Amon Green bangs his way up to the 28-yard line for a first down.
The one thing now, when you think about Amon Green, the one knock that he's had in his career in the NFL, and it's been a short career of just 3 years, is that he does have a tendency to fumble. Mike Sherman says he thinks he's over that. Most of his fumbles come early in the seasons, but you got to wonder about it in this type of condition.
Might have called it a first down prematurely. They're going to measure here, spotting the ball at the 28-yard line, bringing the sticks out.
So wet, they're dipsticks.
First down. What'd I tell you?
Eagle eye. Tough to find a dry spot on the ball for the quarterbacks to throw. The advantage that Favre has, he has very big hands. Here's Ed McDaniel, number 58, getting blown out by William Henderson there. Huge play by the Packers, opening up that 10-yard gain.
First and 10, 28-yard line. 45 seconds into overtime. Green again with a slant for a gain of 1. Richard, this is the 6th time in the 78 meetings this rivalry has gone to overtime. In the 5 previous games, the Vikings have won 4. The other game wound up in a tie.
Well, this has been an amazingly close series over the years. Minnesota, 39 wins to 37, one tie since 1961 when the Vikes came into the league.
Second and 9 from the 29-yard line. Favre over the middle. Did he make the catch? No, incomplete. Green never had possession. Hit by Robert Griffith. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
This was real close to being a reception and a fumble. Favre after the fake to Green, throws him the ball. It's a good call by the officials. He never had possession. Robert Griffith right there to make the big hit. Carl Madsen is our umpire tonight. He's wearing the camera on the bill of his cap. He's all over it right there with the call.
Close. The sump pump cam.
3rd down 9 from the 29. Wide open is Schrader. He makes the catch at the 49-yard line of the Vikings.
Ooh, Schrader cradled it, got prepared to get rocked.
And that's the catch he didn't make in the end zone. Very similar post route. Watch this catch and watch the hit by Tyrone Carter right there. You know you're going to get hit. You always hear that. Announcers always say that. Well, they know they're going to get hit. They might as well go ahead and make the catch. Okay, easy. Make the catch, get hit, first down.
Easier to say.
Yeah. Usually it's an old quarterback saying that.
22 yards on 3rd and 9. Now 1st and 10 from the 49. To the ground. To Green. Breaking tackles coming out of the backfield. He gets 9 to the 41-yard line.
Tearing loose of that tackle like Jimmy Taylor.
You know, a lot of times teams get in overtime and they forget that they have a 15-minute period, that they don't have to hurry and panic and throw the ball every time. The Packers are very patient on this drive. This is about 4 carries now for Green, a couple of passes mixed in. And a very impressive drive, one of their better looking ones here in the second half.
Said his knee hit down at the 43. It makes it 2nd down and 3. Green again runs right into a wall, and that wall is named Robert Griffith.
Second leading tackler for the Vikings, and that's what a strong safety is all about. Got tough responsibilities. He's got to be that 8th man in the box. He's also got to play in coverage. Here he is right here. He's in that box playing almost like a middle linebacker. Goes unblocked there and makes a tackle on Amon Green for no gain.
3rd down 4 from the 43.
Frank Winter saying the ball's wet. Wants a dry ball.
Little white job.
I was wondering what the official lingo was on that.
That's what it is. Favre lays it up for Freeman, and it's incomplete. Or did he make the catch at the 15?
Yes.
What are they going to rule it? He caught it? Touchdown. He did what?
Ref was right on it, I think. Oh, man.
Man, how did Dishman not intercept it?
Well, the Packers are going wild. The crowd's going wild. I mentioned there's nothing to challenge, but they'll have to look at it upstairs. Hand tack, well, he's laughing. But let's see what it shows on the replay.
It never hit the ground. It hit the back of Antonio Freeman. Watch it, right on his left. Watch his left arm bring the ball up in the air, and he's 6 inches off the grass.
What a catch.
Unbelievable awareness of where the ball is on his body, and he's got himself a touchdown.
Once again, we are reviewing the play on the field.
Ball went through Dishman's hands. Never hit the ground.
Wow.
They're trying to bring the teams back onto the field if they overturn it, but I haven't seen anything to overturn it yet.
No, it's just a great fluky play for the Pack.
Hand tack hasn't even gotten over to the...
and then there's no contact.
Dishman didn't even tidy up afterwards. He just assumed that it hit the ground.
You couldn't film that scene in a movie and make it look that good.
Touchdown.
It will stand.
Get out the blow dryer. It's done.
A lot of wet heads here tonight, too. This is a heck of a play by Dishman, and just a lucky play at first, and then a great play by Freeman. He felt the ball on the back of his left arm, knew it wasn't on the ground, located it, grabbed it, and scored with it.
I'm happy for Mike Sherman. He's a good guy, and he's off the hook now on that call.
Favre to Freeman, 48 times they've combined for touchdowns. Never with any more drama than this. And it is another manic Monday.
Freeman just earned a couple of those $6 million right there. That is a big, huge play. Season saver.
Remember, he talked about he and Brett getting off, and when they get off and they are hitting, magical things happen. But that was totally unexpected.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Pretty good call by the guys on the field. They got it right. I mean, that was impossible.
Fun game, guys.
It is the only time tonight that Green Bay had the lead.